French Yellow Vests marched in a nationwide protest against high living costs and the perceived indifference of President Emmanuel Macron. The street protest began peacefully in the French capital but degenerated later as protesters hurled missiles at riot police, barricading bridges over the Seine River and torched garbage bins on the glitzy Boulevard Saint-Germain. Thousands more rallied as well in the southwest area and in the north, Marseille in the southeast, though numbers appeared far below the turnout seen in early weeks of the protest. Senior Trump administration officials met with Democratic congressional staffers but failed to break a deadlock over a proposed border wall and end a two-week-old partial government shutdown. Vice President Mike Pence said that the meeting was productive and that both sides have agreed to meet again today. Pence said that he reiterated Trump's position that funding for the wall was needed, but he said there was no in-depth conversation about a dollar figure. He also stated that Homeland Security Secretary has briefed the Democratic negotiators on the situation on the U.S.-Mexico border, adding that the Democrats requested further details in writing on her department's needs. Three men have been killed and 4 wounded in a shooting at a bowling alley in the Los Angeles suburb of Torrance. Police are in search for the suspects. The incident followed a fight at the Gable House Bowl, a bowling alley and an arcade that also offers laser tag. A Torrance Police Department said officers responded to a shot-fired call at the location, found multiple gunshot victims. 2 men were taken to hospital, 2 opted to seek their own medical attention, and 3 were pronounced dead at the scene. Thousands marched in Belgrade to protest against President Alexander Vučić and his ruling Serbian Progressive Party to demand media freedoms and an end to attacks against journalists and opposition figures. Protesters blew whistles and waved banners in the 5th such protest in as many weeks. The protests have been triggered by an incident in November in which opposition politician was beaten by unknown assailants. Thousands of Peruvians took to the streets of Lima demanding the resignation of Attorney General Pedro Chavarri, who abruptly removed the 2 prosecutors investigating corruption allegations against former presidents. Chavarri reinstated the 2 prosecutors just days after firing them because of popular and political pressure. But the reversal did not calm demonstrators who have called for him to step down over the fiasco. The new president of Venezuela's opposition-controlled National Assembly said Nicolas Maduro would be usurping the presidency if he is sworn in for a new term as planned on January 10th. Congressman Juan Guaido of the Popular Will Party was elected to lead the assembly after an agreement between opposition parties was reached. Guaido did not specify how Congress would go about it, but said he would like to lay the foundations for a transitional government and call for new elections. Munich airport cancelled 120 flights due to heavy snow, causing travel disruption for thousands of passengers at the end of the school Christmas holidays. A further 70 flights were delayed by an hour or more. Heavy snow blanketed swathes of southern Germany on Saturday, with the National Weather Service issuing weather warnings covering much of Bavaria and the neighboring southern state of Baden. A court in India set up under anti-money laundering laws declared business tycoon Vijay Mallya a fugitive economic offender, paving the way for the government to seize his assets. The Financial Crime Fighting Agency Enforcement Directorate had sought to declare Mallya a fugitive economic offender and to confiscate 125 billion rupees worth of his assets. Liquor baron Vijay Mallya is the first tycoon to be charged under the new anti-fraud law. The Indian government can now confiscate properties of Mallya accused in 9,000 crore loan default case. Britain has warned tourists visiting the southern Indian state of Kerala after sporadic violence in recent days over the admission of women to one of Hinduism's holiest temples. In updated travel advice, London advised UK nationals in Kerala to monitor media reports closely, remain vigilant and avoid large public gatherings. A Sabrimala temple has been at the centre of a prolonged showdown between traditionalists and authorities since September, when India's top court overturned a ban on women of menstruation age setting foot inside. China's second child policy has failed to meet expectations as the 2018 birth rate dropped more than 13%. That means the total number of babies born last year was less than 15 million. China adopted the second child policy to encourage all couples to have 2 children at the start of 2016 to counter population aging and the country's dwindling workforce. In the first year of the second child policy, around 17.86 million babies were born. However, the momentum failed to keep up in the following 2 years. All units of the Chinese army engaged in intensive training courses after Chinese President Xi Jinping signed a mobilization order for their training, focusing on enhancing the basic combat skills of its officers and soldiers. The ground forces organized a series of phased multi-level training courses, including special force operation and hand-to-hand combat. In the South China Sea waters, a Chinese Navy fleet started its first training in 2019 to enhance its real combat capabilities. In an escalating rhetoric with China, Taiwan's president has sought international support to defend the self-rule island's democracy in the face of renewed threats from China. The president's comments come after days after Chinese President Xi Jinping said that Taiwan was part of China and that people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait should seek reunification. Taiwan is claimed by Beijing as its territory. Now, the president said that the island would never accept a one country, two systems political arrangement with China. China introduced its longest ever Fuxing high-speed train on the Beijing-Shanghai rail line. The new train has a design speed of 350 kilometers per hour and has 17 carriages, one carriage longer than the Fuxing trains currently in use. The train has a seating capacity of 1,283 people and can be used with the already existing stations, platforms and other high-speed railway facilities. The Beijing-Shanghai high-speed rail line is over 1,000 kilometers long and transports more than 400,000 passengers each day. The 35th Harbin International Ice and Snow Festival opened in Harbin, capital of China's Heilongjiang province, with Harbin Pearl on the crown of ice and snow as a theme. The festival will put up more than 100 events featuring ice and snow tourism, culture and arts, fashion, trade and sports on the opening day. All the scenic spots in the Harbin Ice and Snow World were officially open for visitors. The park set up more than 2,000 spots of ice and snow landscapes, plus 30 interactive entertaining activities. Tourists can also enjoy a 3D snow projection show. Colored lights illuminated the towering sculptures of ice and snow that were carved by thousands of artists and workers. Thousands of excited children and their families lined one of Madrid's main streets to witness the annual Three Kings parade. Performers dressed in colorful outfits took part in the parade alongside large floats as children eagerly watched while their bags were filled with sweets. Spain marks the Epiphany on January 6th, the arrival of the kings in Bethlehem and presenting Jesus with the gifts of gold. And 12 days after Christmas, many Spanish people consider the celebrations more important than Christmas, and many children wait until January 6th to open their presents.